Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a brand new F1 22 esports video. Today we're racing around the Dutch Grand Prix Zandvoort circuit actually. And we're heading out for our first Q1 run. We've done our usual outlap on the intermediates to test if everything is working. But now it's time to see if we can get into Q2. As per usual on the single set of tires, as I always say. Because we only want to use a single set of tires heading into Q2, which means then if we do make it to Q3 we still have 2 new sets of tires, which is crucial if you want to be fighting for pole position. So the whole setup for Q3 already starts right here by banging in a very solid lap early on in Q1. So very short circuit, which usually means the pack is very close up in Q1, 2, 3, but there are a lot of corners, very Mickey Mouse kind of circuit, very short, small circuit. One of my favorite tracks, to be honest, and you know, I always love driving around. They're very high downforce, which is what I love as well, tight corners, and we are gonna try to snatch our first pole position of the year actually. And you know, it's not gonna be easy. In practice I was around 1/10 slower than both of my teammates, both Jake and Danny. However, usually in F1 Esports it always comes down to who can nail their qualifying lap the best under pressure, which is something I've been able to do over the past few years very well. I think there's not been a single track where I've been fastest on personal best wise. It's just that I tend to really nail my qualifying laps under pressure, which is something weird to hear probably for you guys, because I tend to be really bad at qualifying, but that's just because I haven't had a pace on the F1 games ever. It's just I've always been around half a 10 to a 10 too slow compared to everyone else, but under pressure I tend to perform really well, and yeah, that's why I'm also driving today, even though I'm slower than both of my teammates. So that makes it exciting. But at the same time, you know, knowing that you're always a little bit slower than the rest removes a bit of pressure, because, you know, you have to nail it to make it into Q2 and Q3 sessions. But also knowing that it's yours to win and not to lose helps a little bit. But rounding off this Q1 lap, it's been not a great lap, not a bad lap. DRS open. We haven't really made a mistake, but it's also not been anything special. It's P4 for now, but a lot of people still to finish their laps. I think we were out there pretty early, so P5 it is for now. However, as you can see on our in-lap, or actually starting our final lap in Q1, we're only P13. So we have to seriously improve here, because otherwise we're out in Q1. So this is a lap that we have to well and truly nail. It's incredibly tight between the entire field. So this is it. As I said in previous videos, we just have to gain 100, even less than 100 in every single corner, which is easier said than done. Backhand steps out a little bit under traction there as the banking falls away on the exit into Schijfvlak we go. Very fast right and a bit of an entry understeer, which is very common on this game in high speed corners. Same for this one, trying to get a front to turn in and carry as much minimum speed as possible. Now onto the next left-hander, entry understeer and exit oversteer is very common on this corner. DRS open, and we are half a 10 up, heading into the final sector. We're down on Piotr Starchilek actually, and we're gonna have to absolutely nail this last sector. We're actually up by 100 on Piotr Starchilek, but we have to nail this final part, no mistakes allowed, and we've gained an extra 100 in the final corner. DRS open up to the line. We're gonna run out of ERS just before the line, and it's P4 for now. However, still a lot of people to finish the laps. First to cross the line was a Red Bull who jumps ahead of us. 2 people behind us have finished their laps, Simon de Weigang and Daniel Adat, which means 3 more people need to end up behind us. And as you can see there, 4th person behind us that has finished their lap and not gone above us, and we are safe now with 5 people that have not improved on us below us. And you can see Nicolas Longe crossing the line and going to P1. Our teammate Danny Moreno in P2, very solid there from him. But as you can see, with Piotr Stachelek about to cross the line, how incredibly close it is. P2 to P18 within 1.2 tenths. And it's even crazier in the midfield actually. Barry Borman to Simon Weigang is like 3/100ths of a second, which is P7 to P17. As you can hear my engineer say, that's disgusting. P7 to P17 within 3/100ths of a second. That's like breaking 5 meters later in one corner, basically. It's just crazy. The entire field within like 2 tenths. P1 to P19, 1.7 tenths. But the craziest though is that P7 to P17 within 300ths. Absolutely speechless. I think it's the craziest Q1 session ever in F1 Esports, with it being that close. But yeah, onto our first lap of Q2 we go. It's P4 on our first new set of tire run actually of Q2. But by the time we drive into the box, we're only P12. So that means once again we're gonna have to nail it on that final lap, and it also means we only have one new set of tires for Q3, and it just makes our job so much tougher. But it is what it is. We just need to get on with it and nail that final Q2 lap in order to make it into the final top 10 shootout. Final corner it is. Wide line to carry as much speed as possible into our next push lap, basically. You can't go too wide, otherwise you bottom out in that banking. Into turn 1 we go, braking at a 50 meters, 4th gear, and be smooth on throttle. Easy to lose the backhand on that exit. 300s up through turn 1, carry the speed through this wall section is the aim, without absolutely butchering that exit. 900s up, actually almost 110 up, heading into sector 2. And it's been a very good improvement so far, and we just need to try and keep improving those few thousandths of a second in every single corner, which we did not manage to do through there. Bit of understeer through every single fast right-hander. Short shifting to 5th as we set up this exit second DRS zone on this track. Only 900s up. We've lost time actually on that exit. 300s loss as we head into the final sector. However, we do not know how much we are going to need to improve, because it's going to be so close once again. So we just need to nail every single corner. We need to be on the absolute limit. Final corner it is. Little improvement on the exit. Few thousandths improvement on the exit. DRS open. And we're going to go across the line. And it's going to be a 110 improvement. Up to P3 we go. We are the first to cross the line. So now it's just a waiting game to see where everyone else is going to end up. 3 people behind us that have ended their lap already. Luke Smith, Patrick Sipos in the pits, and Marcel Kiefer, who has finished his lap. Barry Bormand on a lap still. Brendan Lee goes ahead of us. Fabricio Nozo behind us, so that means we're 4 safe. And only one more person has to end up behind us, which is Danny Moreno, our teammate. So we are safe, 100%. And Joni Tormala is going to come across the line. P12 it is for him. And that means we are both through. By the skin of our teeth once again. It's incredibly close. You can see we've gone through by 9/1000ths of a second compared to Fabricio Donoso. Our teammate goes through by 3/1000ths of a second, and once again it's incredibly close. P1 to P11 covered within 9.400ths. P1 to P3 covered. P1 to P13 covered in 1.2 tenths. Again, incredibly close, and the slightest of mistake can mean you're out. Onto our final Q3 lap. We've done a banker on a used set of tires, which does not mean anything, because that's just not fast enough of a lap. We're only P8, as you can see there. We're the first one to start our final Q3 lap, and we're gonna try and snatch away pole position here, which is easier said than done. Half a 10 up through turn 1. Make that almost 1/10 after turn 1. And we're gonna try and get as much rotation as possible through that corner. Very good exit, 1.7 tenths up. And the middle sector is where we've struggled the most compared to all others. So we're gonna try and absolutely nail it. Much better rotation compared to our final Q2 lap. And we're up 2.3 tenths and we're gaining every single corner. Now, can we get maybe a PB? I think we're gonna need a PB in order to get pole position here, because we were so slow in free practice compared to everyone else. We were 2 tenths slower in free practice compared to Freddy Rasmussen, so we're gonna need a PB definitely here to get pole position. 2.35 tenths up on Brandon Lee, and it's a very good middle split. Into the final sector we go. We're gonna need to nail once again the final corner. Bit of understeer, a little bit too much maybe, and we're 5.3 tenths up as we're gonna open the DRS. Is it gonna be enough for provisional pole? Yes, it is, by quite a margin actually, over half a tenth provisional pole. However, still a lot of people to cross the line, a lot of fast people to cross the line. Thomas Ronnar still on a lap. Freddy Rasmussen first one to cross the line actually. And you can see he gets much better rotation through the final corner than us. Up to the line he goes. Lucas Blakely goes provisional pole position. Freddy Rasmussen goes only P2, 300s ahead of us. Barry Borman next to cross the line. Let's see what he can do. Brandon Lee first actually, and he goes behind us by 2/100ths of a second. Alvaro Carreton ahead of us. Barry Berman jumps ahead of us as well. Our teammate Danny Moreno behind us in P10. Thomas Ronnar, final one to cross the line and goes to pole position. And we're only starting P7 after being on provisional pole position. Very frustrating. But to be honest, I can be pretty proud of that, considering we were only half a tenth of our PB there. And yeah, even if we would have PB'd, it would have been probably not enough for P1. Or PB would have only got us like P4, P3, P4 actually. So yeah, we just didn't have the pace. Simple as that. We nailed our qualifying session, but onto the race we go. And you can see it's a wet race with changeable conditions. However, you never really know what's going to happen in the race, because that screen you can see right there where it says it's going to dry up is pretty inaccurate. So onto the race we go. A lot of people starting on the intermediates around us, and we have no idea what's going to happen here. What is going to be the faster tire? We're starting on the wets, and it's lights out, and away we go. You can see we have much better traction than the intermediate runners off the line. We go around the outside of Freddy Rasmussen. Nicolas Longe goes deep into turn 1. Around the outside of all the chaos we go, and up to P2 we go off the grid after starting P7. Our teammate Danny Moreno up to P4 already. Freddy Rasmussen, we were starting P3 down to P5. On those intermediates, Thomas Ronnar spun around, collided with Nicolas Longe, and it's been the perfect start to this race after we went around the outside of all the chaos. And instantly I asked to my engineer, I need to know the lap times of all those intermediate runners every single lap, especially Freddy Rasmussen, because it is gonna dry up at some point. It is gonna go to intermediates, that's for sure. We don't know if it's gonna go completely dry based of the screen we saw in the beginning, but one thing is for sure, it is going to go to intermediates. We don't know when, but we need to know where Freddy Rasmussen is going to come or stay out. He's going to stay out if it dries up to intermediates, of course, but we need to know where we will come out compared to those intermediate runners, because he's not going to have to make a pit stop most likely, and that's going to make our race very, very tough. If he does not lose a full pit stop window. Simple as that. If he manages to lose less than 20 seconds, on average a pit stop is around 20 seconds depending on track.
7 seconds.
As you can hear, my engineer said gap to Freddy 3.7 seconds, but that was heading into the final sector, and Freddy is in all this traffic. He's getting overtaken every single lap, so that is costing him time as well. And coming across the line, we set the fastest lap of the race with a 23.5. And the gap to Freddy is already 12 seconds, which means he's already lost more than half a pit stop in the space of 2 laps. And this strategy is not working out for him at the moment, and he's losing a lot of time every single lap. So
29.6 from Freddy.
As you can hear my engineer say, 29.6 from Freddy, which means he lost 6.1 seconds on that last lap. Now the question is, how fast is it going to dry up? He needs it to dry up fast. We hope it does not dry up to intermediates at all. We just want to stay out on these wets forever. However, in the next few laps, you can see start of lap 7 now, we lost 4 tenths to Barry on the last lap, and that's because we're starting to struggle with overheating because it is drying up.
Box, this lap.
We have taken the risk of betting on an entire wet race. As you can see at the start of the screen, it said it was going to dry up. However, from experience, we think it is not going to dry up, but we might be wrong, and that's why it's a bit of a risk, you know. We made a risk with the setup on betting it was going to stay wet all race. We know it was going to go to intermediates. However, we still don't know at this point in time if it will dry up or not. If we go to intermediates and it stays intermediates the rest of the race, then we have betted the right way, or risked it the right way. However, it's not working out at the moment because we are overheating a lot more compared to Barry Bormond and Lucas Blakely. We're overheating a lot more than the entire grid because we took that risk, and we're gonna be boxing right here, right this lap. And Barry Bormond and our teammate Danny Moreno unfortunately are gonna have to stay out another lap, and they're gonna probably lose around a second, more or less, maybe 2, which is not the end of the world. It's not as bad as when you have to stay out on slicks when it starts raining, but it's not ideal. Obviously, you can't box at the same lap as well because, as you can hear Crofty absolutely shout through me, you can't box behind your teammate because you will lose like a crazy amount, way more than just staying out. As we're trying to find traction coming out of the box, Freddy Rasmussen sets the fast lap of the race. However, he has come out 3 seconds behind us, so he went the wrong way. He has to make up time on an older set of tires, 7 lap older tires actually. So that's very tough for him. He has all the tires and he's 3 seconds behind, lost out on track position. He will not be happy with that strategy for sure, but we're gonna try and gain the time back we lost by that horrible overheating we had on the wets. But that overheating on the wets is just an indication that if it does dry up, we're gonna be in big trouble, and that's the risk we took with the setup we went. It works if it stays wet. However, if it dries up, you're in big trouble. And the only thing we can do at this point is pray it's not gonna dry up, because otherwise it's gonna be very tough staying even in the points probably. So our teammate Danny Moreno boxing now as we are trying to find a way past John Evans on those wets. He is losing a lot of time staying out this extra lap, and we are losing a lot of time by staying behind him. Surprisingly, he is not boxing. I have no idea why he is not boxing. However, we managed to get past anyway, as Freddy Rasmussen sets the fast lap of the race once again, which will probably get taken away by me and Lucas on a fresher set of tires, of course. 2.85 seconds behind Lucas Blakely now, and we're gonna try and close that gap now. We've lost around half a second behind John Evans on those wets, which is tough, but we didn't lose as much as the likes of Barry Bormond and our teammate, who have lost both around 1.5 seconds staying out that extra lap, which very tough for them. However, they are still in podium contention as we set the fastest lap of the race, and we've gained half a second back to Lucas Blakely. And this is what I meant with we've betted on a wet setup, we've taken the risk, and this is why we're gaining time as well at the moment. We've gained an extra second to Barry Bormond, we've gained 1.5 seconds to Freddy Rasmussen, while they have been on intermediates. So it's working very well at the moment, but it's still 25 laps to go, and we need to hope it stays wet, because as I said earlier on, we're gonna be in big trouble if we don't.
And it's going to dry.
On to the start of lap 12, fastest lap of the race once again, a tenth faster than Lucas Blakely, and we are lapping faster than anyone else on the grid at the moment. We are the fastest, and you know, feeling comfortable. Balance is great. We're still gaining time every single corner to Lucas Blakely, Barry Bormond, Freddy Rasmussen, and our teammate Danny Moreno.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
However, as we move on to lap 19, you can see we've lost 2.3 seconds to Lucas Blakely, and unfortunately for us, it is drying up. And unfortunately, we are overheating once again, and there's not much we can do about it apart from not destroying our tires even more. We're gonna be boxing at the end of this lap for a set of hards, because if we would go to mediums, that will make our life even harder. It might not make sense to a lot of you that we're boxing for hards, but if we go for mediums, we are gonna be even in worse trouble, because mediums heat up faster, which also means they're gonna be overheating faster. If you overheat, you're losing more grip compared to hards. And as you can see there, DRS enabled, Barry Berman boxing as well. He's gonna be losing a little bit of time, I guess, going at the same lap as his teammate. Same will be for our teammate Danny Moreno. But those next 17 laps are gonna be the toughest 17 laps probably of my F1 Esports career, as Thomas Ronner comes across the line, sets the fast lap. We get a 5-second penalty there for crossing. We get a 5-second there for crossing the pit exit, but that will be removed. There are no rules for pit entry and pit exit lines, which honestly is great, as long as you don't take anyone out entering or exiting the pits. There's no problems, and these will just be removed. And honestly, I like that. No bullshit with pit entry and pit exit lines, as long as you don't take anyone out or do anything dangerous. So we've gained a bit of time back to Barry Berman. We're losing a little bit of time because we've gone too hard. Actually, I think we've gained a little bit of time compared to Lucas, because our tires are heating up so much faster. But with that, we're definitely not fighting for the win anymore, because we have betted on a full,
let me check,
or an entire wet race, and it's not. And that means we're gonna be fighting to stay on the podium, if anything, fighting to stay in the top 5 or points, because the next few laps are gonna be incredibly tough with overheating, and you will see how much time we're gonna be losing. Lap 22 it is now, midway lap 22. We boxed at the end of lap 19, so we're 2 laps into this stint, and we already got horrible overheating. You can see in the bottom left, or in the bottom right, our core temperature was 103 degrees, and you start overheating at 103 degrees, and this is only lap 2. The track is only just fully dried up. Barry Berman's right behind us, then it's Freddy Rasmussen, and they're all in mediums as well. So honestly, the overheating is going to get worse, but the tire advantage they have at the moment will get less, because they will get more tire wear, because they're on mediums, of course. So we just need to try and minimize the pain. We're not going to fight the battle with Barry Berman, because we will be shooting ourselves in the foot if we are fighting the battle with Barry and Frederick Rasmussen at the moment. We will be most likely losing even P4, because we are losing a second a lap at the moment. If we go and fight a battle that we are gonna lose anyways, that means we're gonna lose the battle to Nicolas Longuet and that entire train behind him. You can see Nicolas Longuet P5 in the bottom left. You can see on the track map there's an entire train behind him, and it's tough to not fight this battle mentally, because you want to defend, you want to hold on to the podium, but you just can't. It's just better if you don't, and that's why we're not doing it. It's very tough. We lost already so much time with the overheating, and we had to do fuel saving as well, because we betted on a full wet race. We also lowered the fuel, and we had to lift and coach, which lost us even more time. You can see we're now 10 seconds behind Barry Berman, and that's what I said, we're losing a second per lap, and now we've got that entire train behind us with 2 laps to go. We're still below our fuel delta. We've tried so hard getting it back. I'm lift and coasting in every single corner to try and get it back while I'm overheating as well. And as the famous quote of Alonso goes, we have no tires, no fuel, no engine power, because we got no ERS left as well. And this is the toughest final 1.5 laps of my F1 Esports career. We're trying to keep an entire train behind us with no battery, having to save fuel, and horrible overheating. We're gonna turn on the overtake button once again, coming out of the final corner into turn 1. We're gonna go. Are we gonna be safe into turn 1? No lift and coast, because we're gonna have to defend from Nicolas Longuet. We go defensive. pretty late on, we managed to stay ahead. And we're gonna have to do a lot more fuel saving in this final lap, which we're doing right here. You can see I'm desperate to try and get that fuel back, because we need to do it right here where Nicolas can't pass us. And we need to do it in time, because there's going to be another DRS zone coming up in the middle sector. Once again, we are lift and coasting in the fast part of the track where Nicolas can't pass us. Lift and coasting every single corner. We are minus 0.01 a lap. As you can hear my engineer say, I know it's difficult, but a reminder, you are too low on fuel. And this is the DRS zone I was talking about. Nicolas is gonna go for a move. He can go down the inside. I had to do a little bit more lift and coast. For the first time, we've gone green on the fuel delta. And Lucas Blakely wins the race. Do we have enough fuel to finish this race ahead of Nicolas Longuet? We've just gone red on the fuel delta again. We've got no battery anymore. Nicolas is gonna get DRS onto the straight. We've run out of fuel, and by the skin of our teeth, we've managed to hold on to P4. And it feels like a huge loss, which in some way it is. But we've still managed to go from P7 to P4. That 5 seconds got removed, of course, because there are no pit lane entry or exit rules. And yeah, it feels tough, because we've basically lost the race when here, because I decided to take too big of a risk. But at the same time, if you guys remember China last year, I won in that exact way, in the exact same way, risking the same thing. But yeah, it is what it is. Sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them. We still got P4, which is a decent result. It hurts that we didn't win by my mistake, but you win some, you lose some. Hope you guys enjoyed the video nonetheless. Hope you guys enjoyed the struggle. And see you guys next time. Ciao.